Hey everyone, welcome back to Indie Now. Today we are really excited to have a very special guest with us. He's just announced his brand new album, Chasing the Chimera, coming out November 7th, and we can't wait to dive into it. Delwater Gap, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We prepared some questions and we're really excited to hear your thoughts. So let's jump right into them. There are a lot of people in my country and among our followers. This is gonna be their first time hearing your music. Can you tell us a bit about your story and what led you start making your own art?
I grew up in like a really small town in a really rural area, and I was a pretty shy kid and pretty sensitive, and I just started writing a lot because I had trouble sort of connecting with people, so I wrote a lot and I carried a journal around and I wrote a lot of stories, and then I eventually decided I wanted to write a book, but I realized that would be a lot more work and time than I could probably pull off as a child. So I turned to songwriting and I started writing songs, and then by the time I got to high school I learned how to record and just sort of went from there. I made an album when I was finishing high school, and then moved to New York, and like the rest was history, and here I am.
Looking ahead, Chasing the Chimera feels like a big new chapter. An album that'll get your fans excited and also bring in new listeners. How would you describe the central concept of the record in just a few words for someone hearing you for the first time?
It's about longing. It's a record about longing for clarity and for forgiveness, for a version of adulthood that doesn't feel like surrender. It's a lot about nostalgia, and it's about trying and failing and trying again, and it's about fear, a lot of fear in there, fear of being ignored, fear of being found out, fear of death. It's about wanting to be good and wanting to be left alone, and also wanting intimacy in a world that can sometimes feel very lacking in intimacy.
Marigolds and How to Live show two pretty different sides of the album. How much do these singles represent the overall sound and narrative of the project?
Yeah, I think they're pretty consistent with the rest of the record. Sort of like thoughtful and confessional. Sound-wise, I think so as well. It's all, it all comes from a place of just truth, trying to make something that I would like and that I feel like I would want to stand behind and play for years. And I feel like both of those songs are that, and I feel like the rest of the record is that.
The album title is striking. What does the idea of chasing the chimera mean to you within the story of the record?
Well, a chimera it's a figure from Greek mythology, and it represents something unnatural or impossible or monstrous, and it has the body and the head of a lion, and it has a goat's head growing out of it, and then it has a dragon's tail. And in modern English or in modern language, chasing a chimera is chasing something that's an impossible dream, or chasing something that is unattainable. And I think for me that represents, the name just represents one through line in the album, which again is just trying to figure out how to feel good and how to feel whole. And a lot of it is about the things that I've chased to try to feel good and to try to feel whole, and the ways in which chasing those things have and taught me that I think like spiritual wholeness is actually something that comes from within.
You've been playing huge festivals as well as more intimate shows. Where do you feel your music really fits best? And how would you describe the main difference between those experiences?
Yeah, my hope has always been to make music that feels good in an intimate setting and also feels good on a festival stage. And again, I self-identify most primarily as a songwriter, and I think for me, songwriting has always been about intimacy and closeness, and so my hope has always been to write songs that when you strip down and you play in a club setting, they can feel connected. But I also love, I love playing big shows, and I love playing festivals, and I love making music that works on a festival stage. And so yeah, I guess the hope is that it's versatile and then it, feels good
Cool.
when it's played. Yeah.
Looking back, what advice would you give to the Water Gap who was just starting out? If you could travel back in time.
I think I would tell him to have less fear and just to trust himself and to, just believe that everything's going to be okay.
Okay, that's all. That was great. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. We're really looking forward to the new album and wish you the best with everything that's coming up.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.